Hi, Vicki. Thank you for waiting. So I've already done the live stream. So if you could make me the co-host, I'll be with you throughout the class.
All righty, let's get that going. Make a co-host. You are co-host.
Okay, thank you. Do you need help with anything? Are you good to go?
I am good to go. Thanks so
Okay.
much, Kim.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Elizabeth, I'm curious, who is that on your screen right now? Hi, Nancy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good, me too.
I love it. Georgianne is on here. Hello, Georgianne.
Hi.
Joanne just joined us. Hello, Donna. Welcome, Joanne. I'm gonna get tired of seeing my face.
Yes.
We're gonna wait for just a couple more folks to join us and then we'll get started. I'm not sure if Elizabeth is on. Elizabeth, are you there? I wanted to ask her about her screenshot. The gentlemen that are on. So some of you may have noticed that we have some new security protocols in place. And I think in my last class, I talked about the fact that we've now implemented the waiting room. And if you're in the waiting room up to 5 minutes before a class starts, you're let in. If you come in after the 5 minutes, you'll basically be asked to live stream the class, which means that you won't be able to ask questions and be able to see the class. But if you contact the support number, you can ask to be let in as well. So it's just another security measure that we're taking these days. We've had some unfortunate Zoom bombing events. We never like that, but that's what happens. There's Co. Hello there. Just curious, with this group, has anyone been using Google Drive at all? You can just feel free to like give a wave. No, no, you haven't. Okay. Beatrice, have you been using Google Drive? No. Okay. Just curious. Has anybody been using any of the Google apps? Maybe Gmail?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe some Gmail and
Google
possibly
Photos.
Google Photos. Okay. Great. Okay. We have a couple more folks joining us. Javonda, Sushil. Okay. Gonna have a nice big crowd for Memorial Day. I'm calling from San Jose. It's supposed to get into the low 90s today, so that's pretty warm for May. It's a little toasty, but very unusual. All right, I am going to go ahead and get us started. Let me share my screen with you. And today, if you folks have any questions, just unmute yourself or put your question in the chat. Both Kim and I are here monitoring the chat, so feel free to ask away whatever questions you have about Google Drive. All right. Well, first of all, welcome everyone. Some faces I've seen today, some I haven't. My name is Vicki. I'm your Get Set Up guide. As I mentioned, I'm calling from San Jose, California, which is in Northern California in the heart of Silicon Valley. So not surprisingly, I did work in high tech for over 30 years, doing different roles, technical support, lots of technical training and instructional design. I've taught students from around the world. I've taught folks who are very technical. I've also taught folks who maybe like yourself are not, quite as technical or just starting to dip their toes into this world of technology. And for me, being a guide with Get Set Up lets me do what I love best, and that is to educate folks about technology. So just a little bit about me. We are a training organization. Ideally, we love it when people turn on their their cameras. I do realize that some folks may be eating. Maybe your cameras aren't working today. That's fine. I leave it up to you. I love it when we can see each other. It's just more interactive, but this is your choice. Today's class is being recorded, and if you would like a copy of the recording, you can just email us at help@getsetup.io and ask for a copy. Let us know the name of the class as well as the date that you took the class. And for those of you who are joining via live stream, hello, welcome. You can see and hear everything we're doing today. But I always recommend that folks go to the Get Set Up site and register for classes, because that way you can fully participate. I'll be sending out after class notes today via email. If you are joining via live stream, you don't get those emails. Also, if you're on live stream, you won't be able to pose any questions, unmute yourself, or send something in the chat. So just a little bit about that. And lastly, Get Set Up is a training organization. The guides are not paid to promote any specific products or services. We are all about the training here. We offer classes, interest groups, social hours, 7 days a week. We are global. You can find us in the US, the UK, India, and we're bringing Australia, New Zealand, we're bringing Singapore on board. So we have something going on 24/7. Anyone who is interested in hosting an interest group, please reach out to us and let us know. There's a new button on our website. If you click on it, it says host an interest group. Just let us know what you're passionate about, what you would like to share with others. And speaking of sharing with others, we have made it a lot easier for folks to share classes. When you register for a class, if you really love the classes, interest groups, or social hours that you've been taking with us, please let others know, share the learning. When you register for a class, you can click on tell friends about this class or share it on social media. So we've made it a lot easier. So today, what are we going to talk about? We're going to start off by talking a little bit about the cloud storage, some basic terms and concepts to make sure everybody is on board with that. Then we're going to dive in and talk about Google Drive, its components. How do you navigate? What are some of the basic features, functions that you can use? We're also going to talk a little bit about sharing files and folders, as well as file syncing. So I have an idea, a little bit of idea. Some of you have been using maybe Google email, Gmail. Some of you may be using some of the other Google apps. Maybe even you've dabbled a little bit in Google Drive, but aren't really sure what you're doing there. So welcome. Let me start off by talking about this thing called cloud storage. So what cloud storage allows you to do is take files off of your PC, whether you're working off of a Windows machine, a MacBook, whatever, desktop, and it allows you to take those files, whatever files you have, and move them up so that they are now sitting on a computer on the internet. So you're taking your files off of your local computer and you're simply moving them up so that they now are stored on a provider's computer that's on the internet. That's really what cloud storage is. It's, what you're looking at here are pictures of this is a data center. This has rows and rows and rows of computers. Each one of these computers, they all may be owned by a single company, Amazon or Google. They may be owned by different companies. They are all storing information. And some of these computers are working specifically to store data in the cloud on the internet. Some of the big providers, some of the big names that have been around for a while when it comes to cloud storage. So iCloud is Apple's cloud storage app. If you're using a Mac or you have an iPhone or an iPad, you can access your data in the iCloud. OneDrive, that's Microsoft's cloud storage application. Dropbox, this is another company whose name is Dropbox that also provides cloud storage. And then finally, there's Google Drive. And this is Google's cloud storage application. So for example, Google may have all these computers that are working to store your data in the cloud. And they're doing it, you access your data that's stored on these computers in the cloud via Google Drive. That's how you as a consumer do this. So that's a little bit about cloud storage. And these are some of the big providers, the big names in cloud storage. Anybody have any questions about that? Just stop and let me know. So what are some of the benefits of cloud storage? Well, as we mentioned, it allows you to save storage space on your device. You're moving your files, either all of them or some of them, off your device and onto the cloud. So it frees up disk space. Sharing and collaborating. A benefit of moving files up to the cloud is that once they're in the cloud, they can be shared and you can have other people collaborate on files with you very easily. So another big benefit, sharing and collaboration. And then finally, accessibility. So when your files are on the cloud, they can be accessed by any of your devices, phones, tablets, PCs, anything that connects to the internet, you can access if it's been stored on your, in this case, Google Drive in your cloud storage. Now, what's also really nice is, let's just say you created a file on your laptop and you're storing it up in the cloud. If your laptop goes south, something happens to your hard drive, your laptop won't turn on anymore, your file that you created is safe and sound and it's sitting in the cloud and you can access it using any of your other devices. So Don has a question. Is this like an old briefcase? Yes. And I actually, you know what? I have a slide that I'll show you in just a moment, because for those of you who are still a little new to this idea of like electronic folders and storing, data in the cloud, the example that I give, it's more like a one of those filing cabinets. We still have them. You open up a filing cabinet, it's got folders. Inside those folders, you can have, different pieces of paper, different files. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, but thanks for asking. All right, so what is Google Drive? It's Google's cloud storage application. When you sign up for your Google account, your free Google account, you get Google Drive. You get a Google Drive. It has 15 gigabytes of free storage capacity, which is actually a bit more than some of the other cloud providers. You can purchase additional storage. It does not cost a lot of money. We'll take a look at that. And think of your Google Drive as your own little personal storage area in the Google Cloud, in that bank, those banks of computers that I showed you. Your storage area is sitting in one of those computers, and it's only accessible by you. Nobody else can see your files or have access to them. So again, let me know if anybody has any questions about Google Drive or cloud storage. And by the way, I have two monitors. And so I have some things on one monitor and other things on another monitor. So if you see me looking back and forth, that's why. Just looking at my different monitors. So how do you access your Google Drive? And this is really going to depend on the type of device that you're working on. So I am working off of a laptop today. And what I'm going to show you is I'm using my web browser to access my Google Drive. For those of you who are working off of a mobile device, whether you're on a phone, a smartphone, or a tablet, you'll be downloading the Google Drive app. You can either go to your App Store, or if you're on an Android, you go to the Google Play Store, download the Google Drive app to your device, and you will access Google Drive, in the cloud from your mobile device that way. It's just different depending upon the device that you're using. For me, I'm going to use my browser, as I said, and I'm going to click on what's called this little waffle icon and select the Google Drive app. So I have another browser window open, and I just want to show you. Oh, and by the way, happy Memorial Day, everyone, if I haven't said that already, for those of you who join later. Happy. Here I am, I've opened up a web browser, and it doesn't matter. You can use any web browser of your choice. I've gone to google.com and I've logged on to my Google account. I have a couple of different Google test accounts. Two different ways you can get to your Google Drive from your web browser. Once I've logged on to Google, you notice that on the upper right-hand corner of my browser window, I have this little waffle icon. It looks like a grid. If I click on that, it displays a menu of all the different Google apps that are available to you once you've logged on to your Google account. I can click on the Google Drive icon, and it brings me to my Google Drive. Another option that's available to you, I'm just clicking on my back button. In the address bar on your browser, you can also just type drive.google.com, and then it will bring you to your Google Drive as well. Any questions about accessing the Google Drive? Again, you can select it. I'm using my browser window. If you're using a browser, click on the icon, the waffle icon, select Drive, or just type out drive.google.com. If you're on a mobile device today, you'll just be using your Google Drive app.
So I guess I need some help in learning how to watch the screen that you have up. And then I have these people that are on here that you want us to look at. And I have to move around when you're instructing, move the people around so I can see what you're doing on the screen. Is there a better way to do this than what I'm doing?
Yes. So Beatrice, are you on a laptop today, a computer? What device
I'm
are
on
you
a
on?
laptop.
So in your Zoom meeting, in your Zoom window, I should say, there is a button that says view in the upper right-hand corner of your Zoom window. If you click on that view button, there is a drop-down menu. And in that view button, you'll see speaker view. If you select speaker view, what it will do is it'll make the main window on your Zoom window, and the participants will be much smaller, either on top of my picture or to the right.
Okay, thank you so much. I
Okay.
haven't found that, but I'll search and see what you're.
Okay. Yeah, you want to go into the speaker view. That way I am just set up as the main window, and you'll be able to see what I'm doing a lot better.
Okay, thank you.
And I should mention that at the beginning. Thanks for pointing that out, because I'm sure there are other people that are running into this as well. So thanks for asking that question. I need to point that out at the beginning. See, always learning, always picking stuff up. What are we going to look at here? So this is Google Drive. And what you're seeing here is this the layout of Google Drive. Over here where it says quick access, once you start using the Google Drive app and you start adding files and creating files, Google is paying attention to the files that you've opened up, the folders that you've been working with. And after a while, under this quick access, it's going to start making suggestions. It's going to remember the most recent files that you've had open and then put them right here in your quick access area so that you can easily access them. So that's what the quick access is. You won't have anything the very first time that you start using Google Drive because you wouldn't have opened anything up yet. Down here under the quick access area, these are files and folders. And if you double click on a folder, it opens up, you can see different files. And so this is what I call the files and folder section where I'm circling my mouse right now. On the left-hand side of the screen, I refer to this as the navigation panel, because really these are system-generated folders. They've been created for you for your Google Drive, and they really act as quick ways to access files, and I'll be going through each one of these. And so under My Drive, you'll see that here are the personal folders that I've created in my Google Drive. And everyone always has this My Drive icon. And then underneath, as I start showing you how to create files and folders, you will start adding your own personal files. And so that's just a very quick layout of the Google Drive, the dashboard, if you will. And let me know if you have any questions. We're going to be talking about all of this. All right, what else do I want to cover? We talked about the drive layout. Working with folders 101. I put this in here because some folks who are pretty new to working online, it helps to give some kind of a visual. So when we talk about Google Drive, think of the filing cabinet. You've opened up your filing cabinet drawer, and then inside your drawer, you have different folders. So the filing cabinet is basically your Google Drive. And then when you open up the drawer inside this Google Drive, this cabinet, you have different folders. And here's an example on the right-hand side of these different folders that I have on my Google Drive. When you open up one of these folders, you have different pieces of information. You may have invoices, you may have letters, printouts of spreadsheets. Those are akin to files. So on your Google Drive, you'll have folders similar to the folders you see here. And then when you open up a folder, you'll have different files. They may be letters, they may be invoices, spreadsheets, photos, you name it. And so hopefully that will just help folks get a little bit of a visual, if you will, when working with your Google Drive and your folders and your files. So that's what I call working with folders 101. All right, let's go through, we talked about the navigation pane, and I'm going to be going through all of these different folders. What I want to talk next about, how do we create, I'm just going to hop over here. Let's talk about creating files and folders in Google Drive. And so let me just get back. Here's my Google Drive. And once you get your Google Drive, the way that you're going to populate your drive is by uploading files and folders from your device, your PC, laptop, MacBook, whatever. And you also you can create files and folders on the fly. I'm going to show you how to do both. So to create a brand new folder in your Google Drive, on the navigation panel on the left, you'll see that there's a new button. And for those of you who are working on tablets today or even smartphones, everything I'm doing, the concepts are all the same. You may just see icons in different places, buttons in different places. And in the after class notes today, I will be sending them, I'll be attaching a document that shows how you access the menus I'm talking about from your smartphone or tablet, because it's a teeny bit different. So if we click on this new button in the navigation pane, there are some options here. We can create a new folder. You also have the option to start uploading files and folders. And then down here, these are Google applications. You can actually select an application and create a document, a file on the fly from Google Drive. So we'll show you how to do all of these. I'm going to click on folder to create a brand new folder. And I'll just call it my Monday folder. There you go, really creative. So I created a folder. I'm going to click on create. And here it is. There's my Monday folder. You see it in this section of my Google Drive. It also shows up right over here. And by the way, things are alphabetized if you couldn't see that right now. So there's my new folder. It's a personal folder I've just created. I'm working with a mouse, so I'm going to double click. You can also tap on this if you're working on a device, a mobile device. It's empty. So I have options on how I want to fill this up. Let me show you how to upload files from your device, whether you're working off of a PC or a laptop or a MacBook, anything that has a hard drive. Now, if you're working off of a smartphone or a tablet, you don't have, those devices don't have hard drives. You don't really have files sitting on there. So when I talk about uploading files and folders, I'm really speaking to those folks who are working on PCs, desktops, laptops, MacBook, that kind of a thing. So to start uploading files from your device, you can click on the new button and we can select file upload. And for me, I'm working off of a Windows machine today. So if I'm sitting in my downloads folder and I'm just going to select a file. I'm just going to click on it, click on open. And what it's going to do is it now has uploaded this file into my Monday folder. Now, when you're uploading files and folders into your Google Drive, you just need to be aware of where you are in your drive. So because I was sitting right in my Monday folder, when I uploaded that file, it uploaded it to my Monday folder. If I had been sitting, I'm just going to click on my drive. If I've been sitting at the top of this hierarchy, the top of my drive, if I were to click on new, click on file upload, I'm just going to select the same file. I'm too lazy. What's happening is, and you notice the upload has completed. I see those little green check marks. I'm going to close this little dialog box. What I've done now is I've uploaded that file, but it's not sitting in any of my folders. It's just at the root directory of my Google Drive, because I didn't start by opening up a folder. Does anybody have any questions about that? We're good? Okay. So here's my Monday folder. And by the way, when I click on new, and if I select folder upload, I have a folder called testing. I'll just upload the folder. And I'll say, yes, I would like to upload it, please. And now what that has done is I've now uploaded this test folder. And you'll see it's completed uploading. It's available to me here in my navigation panel, but also here in my files and folders. And I have some silly little files. And so that is creating a folder and uploading files and folders. That's how you're going to start populating your Google Drive.
I'm sorry.
Good. Code, did you have a question? You're muted right now. Sorry, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yes, I've got a question. Can you walk through that again? Just like if I want to transfer something from my Google email, say I get a podcast weekly from an organization, and if I want to put those, I want to upload those from my email into do I create a file first and then put the file into a folder, or how do you make that transfer?
Sure. So what you can do is you'll need to probably select, and it depends on the email that you're using, but typically you can download your individual emails to your hard drive and then upload them to Google Drive. So if you're using Gmail, and I'll send a link in the after class notes. Let me just make a quick note. Email to G Drive, because I do have a link with that explains how to do that. It's not, you can't just drag and drop. It's not as simple as that. You have some options, but if you wanted to download the iPod, the podcast, you would download it first to your hard drive, and then you can upload it to your Google Drive that way. So hopefully that answers your question. It's not a straightforward drag and drop.
So you don't go from one Google system to the other. You have to download it on your hard drive of your own computer first, and then transfer it.
When it comes to Gmail, yeah, they're two separate entities, right? And it brings up another point that I wanted to cover. When you are uploading files and folders from your device to your Google Drive, you are doing it, you're making a copy of those files that are sitting on your device, and then you're uploading that copy to your Google Drive. So people get very nervous about this. They're afraid that if they upload files from their device, they're deleting it from their device, and that's not true. When you upload files and folders, the upload process is first making a copy of those files and folders from your device, and then it's taking the copy and it's uploading them to your Google Drive. If you would like to then delete those files off of your device, you'll need to do that manually. So just people get very confused. They get very nervous. They're afraid to, upload things. You'll need to delete those files and folders off of your device, off of your hard drive manually, if that's something that you want to do.
Could you just do that one more time? Can you just repeat or just go through the mechanics of where did that file come from?
Sure. So
Would you have the time to demo that,
I'm sorry,
the process
of
transferring to a file from the email via hard drive?
no, I won't have time to do that. We have a number of other things to cover today, but I am going to include some good links in the after class notes for you. But so just so that you know, what I did was when I clicked on new, when I selected folder upload, what it's doing is because I'm on a Windows machine, File Explorer automatically opens up and I can select different folders on my hard drive, my C drive. I can select more than one. If I click on testing folder, what it does is it makes a copy of the testing folder. And then when I click on upload, it then brings that testing folder up, the copy up to my drive, up to my Google Drive. And Kim is going to put some really useful YouTube links in here. So in the chat window, so look for that later on in class. So Co, did that answer your question? So I'm sitting on my Google Drive. When I click on new, and if I click on either file upload or folder upload, what it does is depending upon your device, if you're on a MacBook, it's going to bring up Finder. If I'm on a Windows machine, it's bringing up File Explorer, and then it's different folders that you want to upload.
So you have to create a file in your computer first, in your native computer first. And then when you go to my drive at the top of your column there on the left-hand side, that sends Google Drive searching your computer for.
And then I took my screenshot of Frieder Kipper manifest and I put file. So I am learning something here.
Okay. Okay, Georgiana. Wunderbar. Thank you. Co, did that? Yes, you are correct. You went through the steps. Yeah, that's exactly what you'll need to do. When you upload something, you have to have a file to upload actually on your device.
Okay, yes, that explains it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And by the way, when you're using your Google Drive, any file that you create using any of the Google apps, whether it's Google Docs or Google Sheets, if you're creating a spreadsheet, you're using Google Slides to create a slide presentation, all of those file types, they're automatically being saved to your Google Drive. And I wish I had known this when I was starting to use Google, because I would use Google Docs to create a word processing document or Google Sheets to create a spreadsheet. And I honestly had no idea where this stuff was being saved until I learned about Google Drive. And I went, oh, that's where it goes. So everything you create that you work with in your Google Drive is being saved here, in the Google Apps is being saved on your Google Drive. Now, if you haven't specified a certain folder to save it in, it will just save it at the root directory at the very top of your Google Drive, just like this test document is not in any particular folder. It's just sitting there on the root directory. So that's how we can get started uploading files and folders, creating new folders using this new button. The other thing that you can do, I'm going to just double click on my Monday folder to open it. I just have a test document in there. If you wanted to create a file on the fly. So if I wanted to create, let's see, a word processing document in my Monday folder, if I click on the new button, you'll notice down at the bottom here, there are a number of different Google applications I can select from. So maybe I wanted to use the Google Docs application. If I select it and then I hover over this little greater than symbol, it looks like it's an arrow, a black arrow. I can create a brand new Google Docs file, either from a blank document or using a template. And when I select that, it brings me out to Google Docs, the actual app. I'm in a brand new tab here. I can just say, you know, this is my test document for Monday. I can name it. I can give it a name. Monday file. And then when I close this tab, what it's doing is it's closing the Google Docs app. I'm sitting back here in my Google Drive, and there's that new Monday file. And so again, I started by opening up one of my folders, my personal folders. I clicked on the new button, and then simply selecting one of these Google apps to work with, and then hovering over the arrow over here will allow you to create a file using one of the Google apps. So you may or may not be working like this. I just wanted to show you that it's available. And so that's how we can starting to fill and uploading data into your Google Drive. Anybody have any questions so far? Okay.
Vicki, I have a quick question. This is Bridget. I just wanted to know the maximum file size or folder size you can upload.
Oh, what a good question. There are. Let me find out for you and put it in the after class notes. I should know that. Off the top of my head, I don't. I'll make sure that I include it so that you have that information. And then I'll remember it the next time somebody asks me, because there are limitations. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is storage. Since we're talking about file sizes, and this, you know, this Google Drive, this is one of my Google test accounts. I don't have a lot of files on here. And the file types I have are just small text files. But if I come down here on my navigation panel, you'll see that there's an area called storage over here. Maybe I can make it a little bit larger for people to see. Here we go. Whoops, this way. And remember, you have 15 gigabytes of storage that comes with your free Google account. When you use that 15 gigabytes up, you can either start deleting some files or you can buy more storage. And what's really nice about this storage area, once you start really uploading lots of files to your Google Drive, you'll see a blue bar that starts to move across this gray area here. And that's a nice visual that shows you how much of that 15 gigabytes you've used up and how much you have to go. And by the way, Kim did a great job. Kim says that it's up to 10 to 20 megabytes per file. And you can upload only 750 gigabytes worth of files each day. Huh, interesting. Okay. So 10 to 20 megabytes per file. So Kim, with our Get Set Up team, she put our some information into the chat, really useful information. Thank you, Kim.
Say that again. You can only put in 750 megabytes per day.
Gigabytes worth of files each day.
It
I
can't be
didn't know that it
gigabytes
was-
because you're only allowed 15 gigabytes total.
That's true. That's true. So Kim, maybe it could be if you've purchased more storage space, that could be with your, yeah, I don't know if there's a daily limit with a free Google account. So let me find out for you. But I think it looks like that's or if you have a subscription, if you have a Google account. So Let's find
Shit.
out for free account. I'll get back to you. I'll let you know because I want to know too. Susan, did you have a question? I see your hand raised.
Yes, hello. This is actually news to me, even though I've been using it, so I just ran over to, I have several accounts. Are you saying that it has to be Google, so Microsoft Word, right, is going to go to the Microsoft product. It would have to be Google Sheets or something else, right? Is that right, to go to Google automatically? Because I see almost nothing in
So
mine.
great question. Thanks for asking that. So you actually can upload Microsoft Word documents, Excel, you can PDF files from Adobe Acrobat. You can upload any type of a file to your Google Drive, videos, photos, images. And what Google will do is there are certain files, most notably Microsoft files. If you upload a Microsoft Word document, what it will do is it'll upload it, but then when you open it, it will open it up in Google Docs. Or if you upload a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, it will upload to Google Docs, but when you to Google Drive, but when you open up the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, it will open up in Google Sheets. And the same is when you download a file, and we'll talk about downloading it. So you can upload files of any file type to your Google Drive. Depending upon the file type, Google will try to open it. Probably if you're Microsoft, it will open up the Microsoft. I don't know about other file types. I don't know if it probably won't let you, but it'll definitely store it for you there.
Thank you.
So hopefully that answered your question, Susan.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And thanks for asking that because I always forget to gloss over that one. So that's file uploading. What other things can we do when you're in Google Drive? So I'm sitting here in my Monday folder. I have my Monday file that I created because I'm working off of the web browser version and I'm on a mouse since I'm on a Windows machine. If I right click on a file in one of my Google folders, there is another menu that drops down. And the same thing, if you're on a folder, sitting on a folder in your Google Drive, if you right click on the folder name, the same menu is available to you. There are a number of different things you can do here. You can make a copy of this file, and then it's made a copy of my Monday file. If I right click on the file, again, I have this menu available to me. I can rename the file. I don't know, I'll call it miscellaneous file. I'm running out of creative ideas here, sorry. And if I right clicking on the file again brings up this menu, you can download the file. And by the way, if this were a Microsoft Word file and I downloaded it, it would, or even a Google Docs file, it will download it as a Microsoft Word file. And so if I download it like this, even though I created this file in Google Docs, it will download it as a Microsoft Word doc. And then I can just save it to my hard drive. A few other things you can do with files and folders, because remember this drop-down menu is available for both files and folders. I can click on Add to Start. And what this will do is it will put it into my starred folder. So if you have any files that you use frequently that are really important to you, you want to be able to access them very quickly. If you star the file like I've done, again, I right-clicked, selected starred file, then in your left-hand navigation panel where you see starred, if you click on that, any files that you've flagged as starred, it's like flagging it as a favorite, are immediately available to you. Now, these are links to these files. We didn't make copies of them and put them into the starred directory. It's simply a link to the file that's in, whatever folder you put it into originally. So that is a nice shortcut, starring your files, flagging them as favorites so that you can access them here. The same is true with recents. So this is nice. If you've been opening up the same file, working on it, one or two files over and over again, rather than hunt through all your different folders on your Google Drive, you can simply come to your recent folder over here on the left and then pick up your file that you've most recently been using. So again, just some nice shortcuts to know about. Few other things I wanted to talk about. I'm going to go up to my miscellaneous file here. I'm going to right click on it. And I'm going to select remove. So if I click on remove, what it does is it deletes the file. Now you can undo this movement. You have about 5 or 6 seconds to undo that delete. But if you've deleted a file or folder by mistake in Google Drive, you can always come over here to your left navigation panel, click on trash, the trash folder here, and then your files are available. You can restore them. Now, there's a note here, items in the trash are deleted forever after 30 days. So you have up to 30 days after you delete something to restore it. And so I have a couple of miscellaneous files here. In order to restore a file, you simply right click on the file and select restore, and then it will place it back in this case, my Monday folder. And there it is back there. And what's nice about working in the trash, not only can you restore folders that have been deleted up to 30 days, but you can also delete items. For example, you can empty the trash. So let's say you were running close on storage space and you've recently deleted some large files and folders. You can come into your trash folder, click on empty trash, and it will clear all of these out and save up some space on your Google Drive. So that's good to know about. Any questions about working with the trash, restoring it, deleting it? The one other thing, and I'm sorry to hop around a little bit, I wanted to mention this because people always get nervous of like, what if I run out of storage? Do I have to start deleting files? Well, that's one thing you can do if you want to, but I want to show you how inexpensive it is to buy additional storage. So I'm coming down here in the navigation panel, and if I click on buy storage, it just opens up another tab in my browser. And these are the different options, the plans that you can purchase. So for $2 a month or $20 a year, you can purchase an additional 100 gigabytes of storage. So if anyone, maybe or maybe not, in order to purchase, upgrade your hard drive on your PC, it costs hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It's very expensive. The same thing here, $3 a month, 200 gigabytes of space that you get, additional space. And then if you're really going large and you think you're going to be uploading and having to save lots of video files, which could be really large, you can purchase for $10 a month, 2 terabytes of space. It's a lot of storage space. So I just wanted to show you how inexpensive it is to purchase additional storage. And by the way, I haven't mentioned this, but when you sign up for your Google account, your free Google account, you get a Google Drive. So you have one Google Drive for one account. If you sign up for a second Google account, even a free account, you will have a separate Google Drive that's assigned specifically to that account.
So you can
any
game the system. You can game the system by opening multiple accounts and get 5 gigabytes of storage in each one of those accounts.
You could. Yep. Why not? You know, Google has lots of storage space. So yes, you can. What else did I want to talk to you about? Let's talk a little bit about sharing files because we're coming up to our hour. This always just boggles my mind. It just happens so quickly. Oh, I'm in the trash. Nope, I don't want to do that. Let's go back up to my Monday folder. So I talked about the fact that when you're working off of your Google Drive, you have your own storage space. Nobody else can access your files in the cloud, in your Google Drive. They can't see them, they can't access them, except if you share your files. So you can, any Google application that you work with, you can share your files, whether it's Google Photos, Google Sheets or Docs, any of the apps, you can share files with others and they can collaborate with you on those files or photo albums, whatever it is. So let me show you when you're in Google Drive how you can share a file or a folder. I'm just going up to my miscellaneous file. I'm going to right click on that file and I'm going to select in the drop down menu that appears this share option. And what I'm doing is I'm going to specify in the share window here where it says share with people and groups, you can simply specify people's email addresses. And so I have a number of different addresses that, you know, they could be Gmail, they could be Hotmail, whatever, you know, AOL, Yahoo Mail. So you'll specify those email addresses of those folks that you wish to share a file or a folder with. And then over here where it says editor, you'll simply select, well, do you want to make them an editor? Can they have full editing capability of this file or folder? Should they only be able to make comments? Or should they simply be able to view? In this case, they're just viewing a file. You can send off a quick message. Hi, you know, please review and make edits. And then when I click on send, what I've done is I've sent an email notification to those 2 people. They'll receive an email, they'll open it. It will show them the document, the file that I've shared, and then they can click on the document name and they can actually start working on that document. So that's how you can share files, or you can share a folder as well. And when you share folders, people can add files to those folders. They can view files, they can delete them. So there's a number of different sharing options that you have. And so, yeah, question.
Yeah, sorry. On the share, if I have 4 people I want to share it with, can I put 3 at view and 1 at comment? You can. Yes, you most definitely can. And we have a class on sharing and collaborating with Google, if that's something that's of interest to you. I'm sort of doing a little tour here of all the different features. Another thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and so I'm just going to move through my, talked about sharing. Let's talk a little bit about syncing files. So part of the beauty of using cloud storage is that you can take all or a chunk of your files and move them up onto the cloud and free up space on your device. Now, when you do that, if you delete files from your hard drive, from your device, your local drive, and they're only sitting in, that's fine. You make only occur in Google Drive. There may be times when you want to keep some of your files locally
and have them up in the cloud, just for maybe backup purposes. It's nice to have. In that case, if you're going to be working both on your device, on your PC or MacBook, and maybe you may be working in the cloud as well, that's when you want to turn on Google's backup and sync tool. Because what that allows you to do is make a change to a file that's held locally on your device, on your hard drive, and whatever changes you make, those changes now get synced up to the file in your Google Drive, so that you're always working off of one version of a file. If you didn't turn on this syncing, this file syncing, and you kept a copy on your local drive, as well as a copy on your Google Drive, whatever changes you made locally, those changes will not be appearing in the file that's on your Google Drive. So this is when you want to turn on and enable your backup and sync tool. And to do that, I'm just going to show you, because we're almost up at our hour. One of the things that you can do here is to turn it on. Let's see if I have I should have my settings. It may be on options. I'm in, let's do sync. No, that's synchronization bookmarks. Let me see if I can bring up my other. I have here, oops. Let me go to my Google Drive. It's in this little gearbox. I was just on a different browser. If I click on this little gearbox, this is where the Get Backup and Sync for Windows is. And you can download that and then set up which files and folders you would like to synchronize locally up to your Google Drive. So that's just a little bit about syncing up your files. Some people don't realize it's available to you. And it's up to you how you really want to work with your Google Drive. Do you just want to push things up there and keep them up there? Or are there going to be times when you may need to be working both locally on your device as well as in the cloud? Anybody have any questions about file syncing or anything like that?
Question, so every time, all your files and folders are automatically, they're not automatically uploaded to the cloud?
No, they're not if you don't have backup and sync tool on.
Okay.
I thought you said that if it was a Google Sheet or something like that, it would be automatically uploaded.
No. What I said before was if you upload a Microsoft file, whether it's maybe a Microsoft Word file or a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, if you manually upload it to your Google Drive, what Google does is it then opens it up in a Google app.
So, so it's not that anytime if I create a Google Sheet on my local computer, it won't automatically upload it. I have to tell it to upload it.
Yes.
Okay, I misunderstood. Thank you.
Now, great. Now, if you do turn on backup and sync tools, if you specify a certain file, your documents folder that you want to sync up with your Google Drive, if you create a new file in that documents folder, then it will automatically upload that to your Google Drive, but that's only if you have backup and sync turned on. So, yep, a lot to think about. We're just past our hour. Sorry about that, folks. I wanted to make sure I answered everybody's question. Just some takeaways from today's class. Remember, your Google Drive is cloud storage. You have up to 15 gigabytes of free storage for any type of file that you wish. Any files that you create using the Google apps are, you can upload files and folders from your device. You can also download files and folders from the Google Cloud, from Google Drive to your device. And don't forget, you can also share any files that are on your Google Drive files and folders with others. So just a few of the benefits of using Google Drive, using cloud storage in general. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. Some of my next classes, we have Google Duo, which I'm teaching later on this week, understanding the cloud as well. I'm taking that class over just for the week from Bob, who is on vacation. And we have additional classes when we talk about, we have lots of classes on Google. If I go to the Get Set Up site, I'm here on our main page. If I click in search guides and classes, and I just type in Google, these are all the different classes that we offer. There's many of them. These are some right now that we are, that we have on the schedule. So if you're interested in learning more about the Google apps, we have classes for you. I am going to stop my share. And are there any other questions that I can answer for folks about the cloud storage or Google Drive? Just know if you have a Google account, you know, open up that Google Drive app, whether you're on a web browser or on a mobile device, and start, you know, creating test files and folders. See what it's like to upload files, upload folders. You can't hurt anything. Just start playing around with it, get comfortable. So if you have no other questions, I'm going to release you. I want to wish you all a happy Memorial Day. And for those folks who served our country, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you very much. And I hope to see you in some of my other classes. So take care. And I'll be sending you an email with after class notes. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Kim.